hundreds of million people using ChatGPT every day. But most of them do it pretty wrong because they don't understand the principles of how we should write the prompts to ChatGPT to get the best results. Probably most of you, when you start using ChatGPT, you want to resolve some task and you start chatting, and then you get not result which you expect, and then you think, okay, maybe ChatGPT or artificial intelligence not so smart yet, it cannot resolve my problem, so I will wait. But the main point is that artificial intelligence is smart enough, but you should use it not like separate person who will solve your problems or tasks. You need to use it as an assistant. You need to use it as a co-pilot of resolving your task and your problem. And now I will show you several examples of prompt from prompt engineering and different principles and practices, how you can improve your skills of working with large language models like ChatGPT, Claude or any other. So you will have much better result that you even expect, and you will understand which problems and which tasks you can solve with ChatGPT and how you can do that in a better way, and you will use it like 99% of other users can't. And the first prompt, it's like for your reflection, just to know yourself better and find some problems or some advantages in your own. So we ask ChatGPT, so based on our history of dialogues, as you know, ChatGPT and OpenAI, they save almost all information about you, about your dialogue, and they have the memory which you can check in your settings. And based on the things that they know about us, we can ask ChatGPT to tell something interesting, something new about not just the simple examples like, okay, I know where you're working, how old are you, and so on, but something deeper which you don't see right now or anyone else don't show it that this is your advantage. So I asked him to conduct in a depth psychological analysis of my personality and some of the factors which they should analyze, like interlocutor, including my interests, communication style, values, approaches to solve the problem, characteristics, and so on. And the main point of this thing is that it can find a lot of things that you not even keep in mind, you not even think about them, and after that research you will think like, okay, I can use it better or I can improve that because it's really my advantage, that's my strong points. And he returned a lot of things about me, like about my communication style, about my interest and passion. But as you know, ChatGPT, he will tell about you more soft and a lot of good things. So yeah, of course you can read a lot of things that you will like, but it's not the point for us. So okay, we will read, he will show us that, okay, multifaceted individuals, cool. So I work with artificial intelligence, entrepreneurship and marketing, and so on and so on. But we would like to get more significant result for us. And after that, first of all, yeah, I have asked him to draw me how he shows me, and he, okay, I am a sportish, and that's how I look in mind of ChatGPT. But I think like it's wrong. I don't like that drawing. By the way, I don't like DALL-E as a image generator. But anyway, it's just for fun. So what we can do better for this prompt is we can ask ChatGPT to write down the 10 main shortcomings you see in me and brief tips on how to get rid of them. So we asked him to find some problems or some things that we can improve for future. And he started to tell us like the first like tendency to over control, over analysis emotions and so on. But if some of these points are not relevant to you, it's not a problem, because if I could find even one, it's already a good point for me, because I can improve myself on even 1%. And that's a good point. We can do this every day or every week, every month, or even on the beginning of the year, to find some problems, to find something which we want and we will improve in the future, and then start working on them day by day. And that's a really good point. That's a really good thing that we can achieve with ChatGPT. And of course, then I will try that. Let's tell me about the hidden talents and strengths I have that I don't realize I have. That's also a good point, because usually when you live your life, you think, okay, I am good at this point, at this point, at this area, and so on. But you may miss some things because you don't thinking about it, or people around you don't tell that you are good, you have good leadership things, or you can do, you can do some kind of work for a long period of time, which other people can't do, and so on, like some hidden talents. And ChatGPT start explaining some hidden talents about us, that we have natural charisma, influence, emotional intuition, and so on. And we will find something that we'll think, okay, yeah, that's right. I remember from childhood I have a really I was really good in some storytelling things or on influence, and we can improve that. And that's really important in your life, when you can improve something where you're already good, because that's, I think, in a business, in a life, in each area, it's very important when people start improving the things that they are pretty good, not the weak points, but the good points. The second prompt and another approach that I am using almost every day is to analyze and find some disadvantage or some mistakes in my text, in my approach, in my strategy, and so on. It doesn't matter what you would like to analyze, because analyze is one of the tasks which ChatGPT perform pretty well. Much better than generating some kind of post, text, content, and so on, because this type of task we can do, but it's much harder. So I will explain later on how to do that better. But for now, let's take a look how this prompt looks like. So I asked him to be an editor-in-chief with many years of experience. So I give it a role. That's the basic principles of building the ChatGPT prompts or any other large language models prompts, that we need to define the role. Then we need to add some context about us, about the task which we would like to give. Then we define the clear task, what it's supposed to do. And the last point, we give him some style guidance, some formats, and so on. And for it's not the rule. So for example, we can use 3 from 4 or 2 from 4, like role and task, role, context, task. For example, here we don't have context, because for this task I don't need the context. My context is my post. And I ask, your job is to analyze text, find the flaws, weakness, and so on. And I give him an example, you should be strict and critical enough. And the clear task, give me 10 flaws and problems in the text below. And I provide the text which I wrote by myself, and I want to improve that text. So for example, we generate text with ChatGPT, or we write it by ourselves, or create some strategy, anything. And ChatGPT give us some 10 flaws, and lack of a clear hook, overuse of glitches, innocent tone and flow, and so on. And for us, like in the previous examples, it doesn't matter if each of the flows which it's provide are good for us, are relevant for us. Because if I can find even one, it's also the point where I can improve my text even for 1%. And if you're talking about the sales and about the other things, if you can improve our funnels, our high level of funnels on 1%, that means that we will have more sales, more money, and so on at the end. So that's really important in our life, to be able to improve everything we can. Of course, it's not interesting to always improving. At some point of time, you need to stop. But at the beginning, that's a very good point, which can give us a lot of results. It's not only about the 1%, because some of the things that it describes can improve our text or can give us more result if you're talking about the sales for 20, 40, 50 or 100, 200%. So it depends. You need to test it, and it's really important to do that on the beginning of whatever you're doing. Another prompt, let's take a look. So I don't like when we try to create some, some reels or TikTok ideas and so on, because that's prompts usually won't give you a good result. If you want to have some TikTok, Instagram reels, ideas and so on, we need to implement some different ways, but today we are not talking about this one. And I want to show you how to generate some ideas. And I really like to use ChatGPT in case if I need to generate something very creative, something unusual, and not just standard ideas for content for I don't know, for social media, but I want to generate and find something really interesting. And that's why I asked him to generate 20 innovative content ideas for an AI blog. And I also explained him how to be more creative, so a day should include unique angle, potential, and so on. So I asked ChatGPT to be more creative. And because of that, he will return to me not the usual response, but very unique, very various examples of what I would like to know, like 20 different ideas. And he texts me like, the AI black markets, secrets, tools no one talks about. I think it's not interesting, it's not relevant for what I'm doing, so I just skip it. And that's why this kind of tasks are also very good for ChatGPT, like the critic. It's only because I don't care if some of the examples are not relevant or bad or something else. I just need to find some ideas. It's like you just take a couple of peoples and just ask him, okay, let's do brainstorming, let's find a lot of ideas, and of course 95% of these ideas will go to the trash. But those 5%, it might be the diamond, it might be something beautiful, something perfect that you are looking for. And from all of these ideas, I really can find some ideas which would be relevant, for example, for my Telegram channel, for some YouTube video, for Instagram reels, and so on. So like AI with human creativity, who wins the ultimate battle. Okay, that's interesting. That can be as part of my YouTube channel, so we can do something like AI can change the human, so we can compare the results of work of an AI and the human, and then we'll show. So it's really interesting format which we can use, and there are a lot of other formats which are not the standard one. So you see, it's pretty creative, and we can of course get more creative results if we ask. So the main thing that I want to show you here is that we can use it not like in several ways, like give me 10 ideas, give me 20 ideas. No, we can say him like, please create for me a lot of different, create like 10, 20 ideas, very creative idea with a different approach, with different angles, with some unique, some non-standard, and so on and so forth. And after that, you can find something really interesting that's not relevant to all of the tasks that you will do with ChatGPT, but some of the tasks which require some brainstorming. It's really helpful to use ChatGPT for that. I use it every time for a lot of different tasks related to brainstorming. The fourth prompt, and before I will explain that prompt, I want to remind you how the prompt generally structured, like role, context, tasks, and style guides or format. And what should we do in case if we want to resolve some task or some problems and we don't know which context to provide? So for example, I would like to write some blog post and so on, and I definitely need the context. If I don't give the context to ChatGPT, I won't get the good results. And that's why I need to know what context to provide and what information are really relevant and how to structure it. Another example is like, usually you need to understand that ChatGPT is your copilot, is an assistant. And for example, if the people who do marketing start using ChatGPT for marketing purpose, it's like he will get or she will get much better result than someone else who don't have any experience in marketing, but he quite good enough in prompt engineering. He know how to structure, how to build the prompts. And for sure, like in 99%, the people who have an experience with marketing will get better result. Why? Because we're not just asking them to resolve some problems, because we don't have, we don't use large language model as like separate person or employees who do some kind of things. No, it's an assistant, it's a copilot. So we need to give him some kind of instruction. We need to tell to ChatGPT how to resolve some kind of problems, what we want to achieve, how we want to achieve that, and so on and so forth. So we need to write some rules of how we can do that. And for that reason, for some of the tasks, for example, what should we do if, for example, if I don't have any marketing experience and I need to resolve some problems with the marketing? For example, I need to find some, create some funnels or write some marketing email. What should I do then? And for that case, before we will write a prompt, we need to ask ChatGPT and we need to use it like a library. So we need to ask, what is the best way to write the blog, or what is the best way to create the funnels? Give me some examples, give me some approaches, and so on and so forth. So we need to speak with them. And first of all, we need to understand how we should do that better. For example, in our case, I asked ChatGPT to be an editor of your newspaper, and your task is to summarize your experience in writing articles and highlight the key rules that an wise editor should rely on when writing interesting and attention-grabbing text. So I just asked them to describe me the rule which I need to ask from ChatGPT, or like before the writing an article, to get the better result. And it starts explaining me, okay, experience in writing articles, key rules, and he starts showing me the rules. Start with a strong hook, know your audience, use clear and concise language, incorporate storytelling, and so on and so forth. So we have a couple of rules. Some of them, as I told you before, might be not relevant for us, but what is good for this prompt? For example, 5 of these rules, and we will understand, okay, so our text should be like this, like this, like this. It should be in this format, this size, it should be appropriate, this rule, and all other things. And these rules we get by asking ChatGPT, but by speaking with them before to understand how to do it better. So we will find the best approaches, we analyze it, we of course we use our own mind to clarify this, if this is okay, if this is relevant for us, and so on. And then we use the rules to get much better result than in case if I would just ask them, please write me an article on AI team in AI niche, just give to ChatGPT some kind of context, we won't get the good result. Of course, for sure, we need to have these rules, and this result will be much better if I will use these rules when I will work with ChatGPT. Now I want to show you the next prompt, and this is like the prompt which I want to share with you, like the pretty good, almost perfect, I think, prompt for solving some specific task. And it's structured pretty well. It's have context, role, and so on. And it's written by copywriter to solve some copywriting tasks. And that's why I told you before that it should be like a copilot. And I will show you an example why it's so important and how the good prompts looks like. And this is a prompt like take on the role of an email marketing strategist with world-class copywriting skills and so on. So I define the role. And after the role, I give some context. I give some context about the business, about the target audience, and then we tell him about the style, and we define the rule. I mean, we define the rule how this email should look like. So we ask ChatGPT to generate for us 3 email marketing posts. And it's not just the posts, like not just an emails which like the first, second, third, and nothing special. No, we tell him that the structure of this email campaign, so the 3 emails are going in email campaign, should be designed to tap different aspects. So creating initial curiosity, that first email. The second email is the building trust, and the third email is using urgency and fear of missing out to encourage actions. And that's how we will get much better result, because the guy who write this email, who write this prompt, he knows pretty well how to write an email marketing, and he starts using the ChatGPT as an assistant who will help him to generate some emails and so on. So if you are not familiar with the copywriting, it's okay, but I mean, that's how should look the prompt. If you want to resolve some tasks where in the area where you have an experience, or if you got that experience or knowledge before the prompt, I mean, like, first of all, you go to the library, I mean, just to understand how it should work, and then you write the clear, defined prompt. And then we have the result. So we have the first email, which gets some interest and curiosity, the second one, which will build the trust, and the third one, which have action, call to action, some other things, and it will sell for us. And of course, we have some summary from ChatGPT that, okay, the first one, curiosity, the second one, build trust, and the third one will make the FOMO for our clients and have some kind of call to action. Sixth prompt, which I want to share with you, is a good example of how we should work with some kind of task which require us to generate something new. I mean, not generate idea like brainstorming, which we told before, but generate some blog posts, some anything like marketing funnel, some strategy, or like anything, even to generate like sport program in the gym or something like that. So usually when you work with ChatGPT, you won't get the best results after the one or two prompts. You need to work with them in an iterative way. So you need to send one message, then improve it, and so on. And not only just tell him, okay, improve that please. No, you need to divide, like, for example, we want to write some blog post, some article. And instead of asking them like, okay, write me some article with these rules, this is the content and so on, we know some part of things which are like before, if we will write the article without the ChatGPT, we will have some rules or some steps which you use before you get the final result. So you define the idea, then you find define the structure, then you think, okay, in base of this structure, what I want to achieve from this, then you add some content, you add some information about that, and so on. So you have a couple of steps. And if you ask ChatGPT to get the final result, I mean, ChatGPT, give me please article with all of these things. He will do that, but on each step, you will have not the 100% result, of course. You will have like 50%, 60, 70% result of what you want to. And of course, if you will have 50% result in the structure, and then based on this structure, ChatGPT starts building some information, some other steps, so you won't get the 50 result at the end. You will get like 50% multiply 50, and this will be like 25%. And then again and again and again, and at the result, you will get, after 4 or 5 even steps, you will get 6 or 7% in the result. And it's not good for us. So how we can do that better? We need all of these steps split and do in iterative ways. So we need to, initially, I give him some content, it's my like post, then I write the style guide, so ChatGPT will understand what the style guide I need, and the requirements, so I give him a task. Okay, ChatGPT understand that, he rewrite me all of the things, and then I start doing step by step. The second step is the task which I want to achieve is to change the text which was written by ChatGPT to more humanized way. So I want to get more real, more flexible, more interesting, dynamic text, and if I just add them, it won't do that pretty well. So first of all, I define some rules. That's like the difference between result from ChatGPT and human-based text is like rewrite this with a style guide in mind. Make sure the text includes a mix of long and short sentence for dynamism, professional vocabulary, and clear structure. So I define some rules which will change the text to be more humanized. Okay, it will change the text, give me the result, and then I do the next step and the next rule. So I say, okay, each paragraph should have at least one short sentence that quickly convey the main idea, and so on and so on. So I just write a couple of rules, and one by one, step by step, we will get much better result, because in the result I give him another step and another step, and at the last point I ask him not to just change something, No, after the result, we can ask ChatGPT, even for a result from ChatGPT, to make the detailed analysis. So I want to ask them, please check what you write and tell me, is that correct or not? Because usually if you ask someone to do some kind of job, so write some, I don't know, resolve some problems or write some article, and then you ask, okay, please check again and tell me if everything is correct and so on. And people most of the time tell like, okay, of course it's correct because I have checked it. It's fine. But ChatGPT can find a lot of mistakes because every time it's like a different person taking a look on what they did before. And that's why we ask them to make a detailed analysis of the result, make sure that the text meets the expected requirements. And then we ask them, okay, so if you will find some mistakes, please rewrite it. And we will have some analysis, okay, everything fine. It even give me this sign. And then we have final adjustment for maximum impact. We have the text, we have information, and we have final optimized version. So this is a version of the text which looks much more humanized than we had before. And it's a pretty good result. And for this kind of task, I really recommend you to do it step by step. So instead of give ChatGPT ability to do this step by step, you need to split all your tasks and do it step by yourself. And then you will get much better result. And the last prompt, last approach which I want to cover is the very interesting thing. So usually ChatGPT designed in this way, and not only ChatGPT, I mean but large language model, of course, they are designed in a way that they always should give us an answer. I mean, if I will ask something from ChatGPT and he don't know everything to give me the best result, so I don't provide him all the information needed, ChatGPT won't ask us like, sorry, I can't resolve this problem because you have some misinformation. Of course, if you will tell him like, please, I will give you a text and you need to change it, and you won't provide the text, he will ask that because that's a common problem. But for example, if you have some problems, let's imagine from the real life, you have some problem with the stomach, you go to the therapist, you go to the doctor, and you tell, oh, sorry, I have a problem with the stomach, and what should I do? And of course, doctor won't tell you like, okay, you need to take this medicine and you need to go home, drink tea and get a sleep. He will ask you like, what is your problem, what do you feel, and a lot of different symptoms and some information to give you a much better result, because the doctor should understand what is the main problem. ChatGPT can do that, and that's why in a case if you are not pretty sure that you provide all needed information, or you don't even know if all of this information are needed or what you need to provide, we can ask them. We can ask ChatGPT to ask you a question to give the better result. For example, I want to create some gym program for me. And instead of giving some information about me, about myself, I don't know which one is relevant or not, and which one would be important because I'm not a gym trainer. I ask him like, you're a professional athlete and gym trainer with many years of experience, redefine the role. And then I'm starting to work at the gym, we give it a context. And then your job is to ask me all the questions I need to know in order to build the perfect training program for me. So I ask ChatGPT to give me some questions to understand me better and prepare the gym training program much better for me after this question was answered. So he provided me like general information, age, height, weight, and so on, training experience, goal a lot of different questions. And of course, when I in case if I will use the ChatGPT to create my gym program without these questions, I will provide some information. It will be like 30% of what ChatGPT asked me. And right now, after answering that questions, I will get much better results. And that's how I suggest you to resolve a lot of problems where you don't have a lot of experience, but you want to get as much good result, as much better as you can. So you need to provide some information and ask ChatGPT to ask you questions. I hope you really enjoyed that video, and I really want you to start using ChatGPT in more smarter way to combine different approaches, not just copy-paste my prompts and start using them in your ways. No, just understand the approaches, understand the problems and what kind of task and jobs you can do much better with the ChatGPT, and start using it. And after that, you will perform better than 99% of other users. So if you like that video, of course, comment, like and subscribe to my channel, because I will provide you much more interesting information about artificial intelligence, automation and ChatGPT, of course.